So today I just wanted to really have kind of a chill discussion about something I've been thinking about. I've heard a lot of people saying recently, you know, my beliefs don't affect you. Why do you care? You don't even believe in the God that I believe in. Why does it bother you so much what we believe? So Gaza right now is a very good example because I've been looking at what's going on in Gaza over the past couple weeks, and it is shocking that people are still supporting Israel. And I'm thinking about this, all these people that are pro-Israel, why? Why can they not see the genocide? Why can they not see what's going on there? And the reality is they hold bad beliefs and they are now producing bad behavior in the worst way. So when you look at religious groups that hold very tightly to like a literalist position on the Bible, for instance, they truly, genuinely believe that right now in the Middle East, this is what God's plan is. This is to usher in this sort of Game of Thrones end days type situation, and Israel has to come out on top. So, first and foremost, I want to take a look at what's going on in Gaza. I think it's important to maybe a Christian that runs across this. If you are blindly supporting Israel in their genocide against the Palestinians right now, this is actually what you're supporting. It's one thing to know what's going on sort of in your head, but seeing it and understanding it, I think this sets a tone for what we're actually going to talk about because it doesn't get much worse than this when it comes to bad beliefs maturing into these bad behaviors.
This is our life in Gaza, just looking for food, looking for anything you can have. I don't know what shall I say. You can have one meal at least. We're still starving. Don't stop talking about us.
يعني هدول الأطفال خايفين من القصف لأنه راح يستهدفوا عمارة سكنية، عمارة شراب.
حدث غرب غزة بعد لحظات سقوط صاروخ على وجوه يلعب بها الأطفال. كما نشاهد الصاروخ يعني سقط بشكل مباشر على الأطفال الذين يلعبون على هذه الأرجوحة. كما نشاهد أيضا كان هناك أطفال يبيعون يعني شيبس.
شايف الضوء يا عمو؟ شايف الضوء؟ حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل.
ليش بتبكي يا حمود؟
بدي سيدة، بدي سيدة.
طلعنا يلا تعال يلا تعال يا شباب يلا حطوا استقالكم في مكان واحد. تعال يا عم تعال خليك تعال اصبر شوي هات ايدك يلا هات ابو صالح رزق يا رب تكليف كلحوا بالشغل. ايوه يا رب ايوه الله اكبر. يوسف
So, just to be clear, that is based on bad beliefs. Everything going on over there is straight from Genesis 16 and 17, I believe, Isaac and Ishmael. That's where this whole thing started. And for all this time, they have been doing the same thing in that region, fighting over land, blowing each other off the map. Now, where I think that this type of conversation can come in and be effective right now is instead of arguing with our Christian friends, our conservative friends, and Joe, I read your comment, dude, and to be honest with you, I was MAGA conservative for years and years. So even before it was MAGA, I guess I was still the extremist type, unfortunately. But I would encourage you to keep pushing forward and analyzing every little piece of your life. That's what I did when I deconstructed. It wasn't really just religious. It was I have all these little pieces. What am I going to keep and what am I going to throw out? So keep up that good fight, man. It takes a long time, and we're here for you if you ever want to talk about any of those topics. What's up, trees? But yeah, so we're talking about the fact that you can get into an argument with Christians until you are blue in the face about biblical issues or sin or these other things that you're never going to win on. You're going to go around in circles. They hold to a belief that we don't, and I say we for the most part in this community. I think would agree with that. So I think I'm going to start approaching some of those conversations with you claim to be pro-life, you claim to be a Christian, you're an open, devout Christian. How do you square this? We see the starving kids. We see the kids buried in rubble. We see the kids looking for their dead relatives. It's an atrocity. And I think now is the time to start confronting some of these issues with some of the people we know and say, how do you square this? Because it's been going on, what, 2 years and 2 days now? It's absolutely, um, it is horrible. But it is based on this idea of a belief system that those people have probably held their entire lives and generations down. We have to come up with a way to break that cycle because without the Abrahamic texts that both Christianity, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all based in, we wouldn't be doing this right now. Our government wouldn't be funding this operation. By the way, the missiles they're launching are from us. The whatever it is they hit with that little playset thing with the two kids on it, that was paid for by yours truly and you guys, the American friends of mine. So that's what's going on. And I guess my thing is where and how do we get people to see that their belief system is a little bit more than we just believe it, leave us alone, it's not hurting you, because whether we're talking excommunication, the thing in Gaza, bad beliefs, you want to talk about some bad beliefs, these ICE agents, how they ended up where they're at, justifying what they're doing to people, that bad belief system has rotted and just festered into a really bad behavior. Now is the time that people are going to have to decide. I mean, we're losing our rights, by the way, at a breakneck speed. How do we start making little imprints on people who are so set in their bad beliefs and can't see that they are producing bad behavior in all these other areas? Can we use Gaza? Can we use um, this ICE situation? Can we use this fascist takeover, quite honestly, of our government to get people to see that these bad beliefs that some of these people hold are now translating to bad behavior? This is another example of how a bad belief can produce bad behavior. I received a message from somebody I know in real life. Christian folks helped me out a lot over the years, and it was basically um, you're reaping what you've sown. You mock God, and now this is judgment for that, and it's deserved, is what the implication was. It breaks our heart, and we tell you this in love, but we just, you're getting what you deserve. Because I'm trying to be honest and I'm trying to call out nonsense when I see it. And not only that, it's pointing out the things that I pointed out in the rapture short, a couple shorts I did during that time. When I start saying things like, well, if Jesus doesn't know when he's coming back, so he can't be God, so don't worry about not getting raptured. Your Trinity uh, has a big problem because Jesus doesn't know everything. Those kind of things I think are upsetting to people. Hey, you're pro-Israel. You want this to kick off this end of the days holy war. Well, this is what it looks like, Mr. and Mrs. Pro-life. You see what I'm saying? It's frustrating, but I've finally started pushing back a little bit, and it's caused a lot of people to, um, tell me how they feel, and that's fine. And for the record, I don't have any hard feelings towards anybody who's decided to let me take my path and they go on their own. My issue is we tell you this in Christian love, we tell you this in compassion at the very end of the sentence. And it's like, what you're telling me is because I don't believe exactly like you believe that I'm getting what I deserve by not being able to get a job at the moment, which, by the way, that is working out. I've got some updates on that, so that's a good thing. But I'm reaping what I've sowed, right? And I look at these people. I look at a lot of the people from the group that I left who, I mean, when I'm talking cold turkey, they got the order, don't talk to him anymore, don't give him any help financially anymore. And it was like gone. Those people have bought in to the same type of bad beliefs. They don't realize until the actions start taking place. This is what happens when you believe that people who are apostate should be cut off and you shouldn't even break bread with them. This is the result. You've cut someone out of your life over this bad belief system. Hey, kiddo. One of the kids in the chat. The reason that I live. I love you, kiddo. Um, it's good people. I genuinely know that. Um, but over time, those bad beliefs start wearing down that good person reputation, you know? Um, and then out of the other side of your mouth to say, oh no, we're pro-life, God loves kids, does he? Does he? And then they get upset when I say, well, he drowned everybody, because he regretted making them. And then for hundreds more years, he was like, yeah, go kill everybody and make sure you get all the babies too. But we'll ignore that because his plan or whatever. Gaza, Christians, how? And I truly believe that just those little questions are pushing some people. Some are going to go, you know what, forget it, too far gone. But I think some people are going to sit back and go, you know, he's right. It's wrong what's happening there, regardless of how you dress it up, regardless of how you spin it. Those people need to make a decision, and that is draw the line and say no more. We're not going to support this or that because it is morally just repugnant. Or yes, we do. We do support Israel. We do hope they blow everybody over there off the map because that's what Jesus wants. And if that is truly your stance, if your stance is round up everybody who is not white, straight, and MAGA and get them out of this country, it's time that you make that position known, and then your ideas will be attacked as they should be. We need to see where everybody stands. And I really do think that not all hope is lost, not with individuals. I think that we have an opportunity to have some conversations. Don't come at them how they come at us a lot of times with the thin layer of Christian love slapped over the judgmental, hypocritical, dishonest stuff. Come at them calm, ask them the question. I'm struggling with something. You claim to believe this. Help me. Maybe we'll get some conversation started. See who's up. I want to continue building community, and especially since right now I'm in a spot where I need some support. emotional support, and just knowing other people are there. Um, that helps a lot. So these times are going to be more consistent. Probably a couple times a week we'll jump on and do this. Take a look at something, talk about something, and yeah. I guess in closing for this segment, what I'm going to do is encourage you guys to try to, without emotion, just showing people what they're actually representing and supporting. As a non believer, help me understand how you can take your all loving God, say this is loving and good, and you support it. Or is it that it's not loving nor good, and that the attributes given to your God in the Bible don't line up with his character or his actions? That's my 2 cents on it. What's up, Kelly? Listen, if anybody who is sub to me isn't sub to Kelly, I don't know what you're doing, but she's getting ready to do her first live stream Sunday, and that channel's getting ready to explode. Mark my words, get in now. You'll be in the sub 100 club, and then when she gets the whatever color it is with, what is it, gold when you get a million, or is it silver? I don't know. When she gets that big plaque, you can say, I was sub 100. So go sub her channel. If there's any mods in the chat, I need to update my mods. Drop Kelly's page real quick. Joe Cool has also entered, so let me pop him up since he's at work. Joe, you there?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Not much. Just went on break for my 15-minute break, and then I'll be off for the rest of the day after 5:30 here over in Oregon. But
Okay,
um,
okay. Well, don't get yourself
so
jammed up at
yeah,
work, man.
yeah. I mean, I basically what I said in my comment was that the best thing that we can do is have an honest, keyword honest conversation with people. And if both people are willing to be honest, then we can have a good conversation with people and go through facts and even talk about those things. But when someone is willing to sit back, talk about their views, and even and or
Get
listen
on
to
here.
the other person's views,
Get up here.
that's the best thing that we can do. We obviously can't talk to Kent Hovind, so
Yeah, that's not going to work. But you are right. It does take honest conversation, and that's one thing too. Um, People have to come to this point, right? Like you're not going to be able to force some of these conversations on people. This may not be it's almost guaranteed not to be the first seed planted, so to speak. The people that I'm hoping that we can
right,
reach are the ones that are sort of on the fence and they want to be honest. They want to reevaluate maybe some of these things. Let me just pro tip here. If it
absolutely,
gets to a point where you're both screaming at each other or you've hurt someone's feelings that you care about, this is where I screwed up a lot. I would say something and hurt the feelings of the person that I cared about, I was trying to talk to, and of course they're going to shut down on you. And then you're like, "What I'm saying is rational. Why are you not opening up?" And it's like, because you took it too far. So there's this balance. There's these
yeah,
vast differences between the two. And Joe, and again, this is not to. I want you to know that I know exactly where in the journey you're at, or at least roughly, because I was the mega conservative that deconstructed,
mm,
and I held on to a lot of that. Like I had to reevaluate everything, and I'm not going to sit here and crap on you because you're not where I'm at. I would just encourage you to keep looking at things every individual, like you just said, individual basis. But you know, there's certain things I think at this point we can start saying these aren't great. These are demonstrably causing harm.
yeah. I mean, so a lot of it has to do with tone as well. You have you ever watched you watched Justin on Deconstruction Zone?
Oh yes, yes, yep.
Yeah. So I mean, he talks to a lot of people, and
Hmm.
I think he gets a lot of people because of his tone and his demeanor.
Well, to be
I mean,
honest,
you look
man,
at all.
that's one reason that I wanted to have you on. I've heard you talk to Kent before. You also have a very calm demeanor most of the time, and you are 100%
Yeah,
right. Like,
yeah, yeah, and we also have to see it with if we think or know that someone else's view is wrong, we can't even always assume that they're the one that's wrong either. But sometimes we have to think, "Oh, am I the one that's wrong?" And if I think for Christianity, I think a lot of people did that, then they would have second thoughts.
Right.
Um,
It really does come down to their willingness to hear what you've got to say. I think that's the bottom line.
yeah,
And between that and the way you come at them, I think it has to be those two pieces. And then I do think people are going to hear, um, what you're saying. So, yeah, man, great
yeah,
point. And
yeah.
it's something that I think we can all work on. And right now is the time to do it because it's. I feel like it. Can you agree at least that it feels way more marginalized, or I'm sorry, divided just in general than it has before between the left and the right?
From what time periods?
I would say, I would say pretty much any. I mean, I feel like right now with the way that everything's going down with ICE and everything going down, um, just with the open sort of labeling whole groups
So
of
you're
people
you're,
as
you're
terror. I'm sorry.
so you're talking about more. You're talking about more like in the recent, like in the past few months.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well,
Okay, gotcha.
I feel like there's been much more division since Trump got involved in the first place, but it's really escalated this second um, term. Do you think
Yeah,
that's
I I think that could be debatable because it's also a thing where uh, Trump came to office and he was doing things that conservatives in general even like to do. And there's a lot more conservatives out there that aren't Christian, a lot more than people think, but they're just
right?
not outspoken. But
Right. Well,
who,
and
who
to be honest,
and
I don't know. I don't want to turn the stream into back and forth on Trump. I guess if just to help me
no,
understand,
yeah,
because I don't see at this point anything that he's doing that is good. And I guess what I'm saying is there an example that you could give us that you are still looking at as um, maybe better than we are? Because I'll be honest, I feel like me and a lot of people that I'm associated with are pretty much settled on he's the worst person ever.
the and I don't view it that way, but that's my point of view, and you guys have your own point of view, and that's how it is. But so I think one thing that I think people blow out of proportion is the ICE issue, um, and there is a middle ground on this, and I don't think that a lot of people, I don't like labeling people, but people on quote unquote the left
Hmm.
don't understand what's going on or why. And I don't have time to go into it, unfortunately, because my
Right.
break's about up. But
Well, I appreciate you spending it with us.
um,
I'm not going to respond and then not give you a chance to respond. So I will say this: I have a much different take on that topic, and I would love for you to stop by on a night that you're not working or you got some more time, and we can chop it up on that. I'm gonna let you jump, get back to work. I appreciate you stopping by, and I've got Marty and Brock
sure,
both back, and we're gonna see what they want to talk about. So yeah, appreciate you, Joe. Don't work too hard, man.
okay, yeah,
I'll
yeah. I'll
talk to you
be I'll
soon.
be working and listening at the same time.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'll be listening. I come to the chat once in a great while when I can pull off of my vehicle.
Just don't get
But
yourself in trouble on my account, man. You know what I'm saying?
oh no worries there. It's pretty laid back where I'm at. So
That's good. All right, brother. Well,
um
have a good night. I'll talk to you
so
soon. Oh yeah, go
yeah
ahead.
and oh real quick, you said that you were going to be you're headed out on a train tomorrow. You said
Me? A train?
yeah.
Has someone has someone purchased a train ticket that I'm unaware of? No, I think that may have been
Oh, I don't know.
somebody in the chat. I
Was that
did
someone
see a
else?
train, possibly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Okay.
believe
Never
so.
mind. Never mind. Okay.
All
Sounds
right,
good.
brother.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
I'll let you guys get on to someone else, and I'll be listening.
Sounds good, man. Have a good night. Man, he's something else. We'll leave Kent at that. Oh
Would you
man.
debate him, Seth?
Um,
Honestly,
No, I wouldn't. I would debate him on. Here's the thing. What I was planning to do was have more of a discussion with him about the fact that this behavior that I planned to show him that he engages in is demonstrable high control cult behavior as we know it from people who study this for a living, right? We'll look at the bite model, peer reviewed papers, things like that. Information that we know, hey, this is high control and this causes these results. He didn't want anything to do with that, just like he didn't want anything to do with Austin Sims, who was like, hey, let's talk about your credentials for algebra. He doesn't want that. Kent wants to run his streams, and he wants to run his scripts from his place. He doesn't want to meet anybody. He doesn't want to. He wants you to come on there, come down here, and I'll debate you down here. And then when you come to my stream, then I'm going to run all these scripts on you, and we're not talking about another topic. That is not a debate. That's not even an intellectual conversation. That is someone deflecting and dodging and minimizing and misrepresenting. The simple answer is no, because again, Kent, I believe, is one of those people who are only there to waste your time. You're not going to convince Kent. The reason I cover him at all is because I think I can reach some of the people who may be considering, moving down there. What's up, Big Bad Mama? Good to see you.
Hi, Big Bad Mama.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to waste my time because I feel like there's a lot of opportunities right now for me. I can get a freaking stable environment to have more refined conversations with some better people than Kent. And again, it's about making an impact on somebody. And I think there's better ways of doing it than trying to get Kent to concede. Well, if you don't like how I do it down here, fine, you can call us a cult. And it's like, I've pointed out abusive behavior for an hour. You're now still doing the same thing you're doing before the debate, right? Like, how much good did this do compared to if I can go on someone else's channel, have a conversation about a topic that's going to reach a bunch of people, and hopefully start putting those pieces together. That's sort of where I'm at with Kent.
Yeah, I hear you.
Kent will bring up the Bible sometimes, I think, as evidence. And I remember Professor Dave was like, oh, let's talk about some passages. We're not here to read the Bible. We're here to talk about evolution.
Right.
I saw that debate. That was a really good debate.
And that's a very good point, Brock. This has been a topic of conversation between the people in the Kent Hovind corner of this community, I guess you would say, for a long time. He wants us to take at face value that his book is correct, because it says right here in the Bible, we believe the Bible's true, and blah 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 blah.
He admits he believes on faith.
He does admit that, but
then he'll say faith is, we believe in evolution on faith, and that's a bad thing. Like, what?
Well, he misrepresents a lot, but here's the thing. First Timothy talks about this explicitly, about being able to. I'm sorry, no, that's First Peter. It talks about being able to give your reasons for your belief at any time, things like that. That is something that's not in Kent's wheelhouse, and Kent is a pastor of a church, which in First Timothy he's held to a much higher standard of living, in the sense of his moral behavior. Which, just ask Big Bad Mama, who's in the chat right now, about everything crazy he's done. Ask Claude Balls about it, but Kent is not, he is disqualified from a biblical standpoint of holding the office. But even if he wasn't, he is a preacher who will not even entertain a question about the validity of the Bible, how he is so sure that the information he's pulling from it is true. He don't want to hear it. God wrote it. I believe it. Next question. That is not any type of conversation I want to be involved in, because it's just, if that's where you're at, it's a waste of my time.
Right.
I also have to say this. Oh crap, I forgot what it is. Hold on, let me remind my thoughts.
All right.
Something about, the definition of science. They'll say, well, science is what we can test, see, and observe. Like the way he says it is like he means like you have to see it happen. So,
right.
Well, he wouldn't lie, right? So I guess there goes forensic science.
Here's what you got to understand about Kent. because I grew up in those fundamentalist circles. All Kent has to do is convince the parents that are sitting in the room or watching online. As long as the parents think that what Kent is saying is true, they're not going to put a lot of thought into it because he's the leader. He's a well-known figure in the fundamentalist community. So they're just going to take it at face value. And he knows if he can poo-poo away everything that's said, my video on the Ark encounter and the way that his cowardice was just bubbling over. Just every sentence was either a lie or him literally just scared to show up. But they don't even address it. He'll say, "Look at this guy over here, this atheist, Ambrose apostate here. He doesn't even believe in God. He thinks you came from a rock. He's stupid." And then everybody at home goes, "Oh yeah, he's stupid." So nothing he says, again, from a former fundamentalist who thought this way, it was like, "Oh yeah, he's a lost atheist jerk. Like no wonder he says stuff like that." Okay, Deviant is getting another promotion. This one comes with a paycheck, Deviant. I'm not sure where the fund actually comes from yet, but you are now head moderator of the Ambushed Apostate universe, so wield that power carefully.
So
I'll say one more thing about Kent before we get off this topic. I am fully prepared and have already got some of the script together for Kent's. I guess it's going to be sort of a mini documentary. I'm shooting between 30 and 40 minutes of runtime, and it's almost going to be McKinnon Mitchell-esque, The Weakness of Kent Hovind-esque, because I want to.
That's a good movie.
Well, and I love his work. He's got non-Kent work too that is fantastic. I think he's done 3 documentaries now. Excellent documentarian, but I want to take it very, very surgical and lay out, first off, what we know is cult behavior. All of this stuff is going to be Kent's own mouth. You know, obviously some of the court stuff will be in there too, but I want to lay out very clearly this is cult behavior. There are people who just type in Kent Hovind 2025 enter because maybe they hadn't thought about him in 10 years and they think, what's that old creationist guy doing? Oh, he's still around. Kent Hovind as a cult leader pops up. Oh shoot, and they watch it and they think, oh, well, he fell off the rails. I'm not going to be giving him any more money. I'm not going to be giving him any more support. And for me, that sort of suffocates his momentum, his fire, so to speak. And kids like me that were being raised under it might not be anymore. You know, if we can push him further out the door, show that he is a liar, show that he's a con man, show that he is a big coward, maybe people will avoid him. So that's sort of my plan on that.
There was a fly, and I swatted it, and it ripped up my headphones.
Well, my question is, Brock, before we check out, have you ever seen a fly produce a non-fly? Have you ever seen a Hovind produce a non-Hovind? That's my question. So
somebody in the comments of a video said Kent's arguments never change. He's proof that evolution is false.
Yeah, and he did a response to some of those comments,
funny.
and he's like, well, they don't change because it's the Bible. It never changes. And it's like, Kent, you won't debate anybody on it, but we can show you right now, just open Genesis and just start in the beginning, and we'll get to some stuff that does not match science. No matter how you want to spin it, the things we know about certain scientific fields disprove your book.
I bet the Bible says the earth is flat. I bet it does. I haven't read the whole thing, but I bet it does.
There are many verses that reference that. But think about who wrote it. Okay, here's the thing with the Bible. The people who wrote it over this time, they did not know any better. So it's not like they were intentionally trying to mislead people in a lot of it. They did not know. They didn't know what caused diseases. They didn't know how big the earth was. They didn't know that that the moon wasn't a light source. That's why Genesis is written the way that it is. It's not because it was an all-knowing God, because he would have known, hey, eventually they're going to get up there and they're going to have all these telescopes and stuff. They're going to be able to look right at it. They're going to be able to study it. They're going to bring pieces of it back, and they're going to find out it's not a light source. So better not write that because I'm all-knowing. But see, that's not what happened. What we got was the people looked around and thought, well, at nighttime it's a little less bright, but it's got to be a light, right? That's what happened. That's what makes sense. But you will never, ever get to that point with Kent, because if you back Kent in the corner, his last resort is he will pivot and go to a completely different topic. And I know you've seen that, Brock. Marty, you've watched enough Kent Hovind to know that too.
Yeah, I've seen him.
If he can't
like
win a
rat.
point, it will be something completely off the wall, or he'll turn around and do his ad hom stuff. You know, the way he treated AJ. Well, with AJ, the way he treated AJ.
Yeah.
Specifically,
really
the way he treats Emma Thorne is disgusting. But again, it's like people in the chat coming in to disrupt. It's all you got. And you still haven't answered the question why your all-knowing God, in his perfect, infallible book, wrote something demonstrably false. So keep doing your little emojis and keep deflecting and keep hanging up on people when they call, because you still haven't answered the question. So that's my take.
Dodge this.